So I was debating if I should make this video or not, and I decided that um, it's better to just say my side of the story, air it out, and have it out in the public than to continue allowing people to randomly speak for me, speak about me, and make up their own stories. Although I have always been very opinionated and expressive about it, I have never publicly made a grievance available for people to just whatever. So, before I begin, I do want to warn you, if you are someone who does not like drama and would rather just pleasantly, peacefully sleep to your favorite creator, please, of course, be mindful of watching this video. Maybe don't watch the video. But otherwise, let's get into it. So I started my channel back in like 2016. I made I think it was like a Klaus Baudelaire video first. And then I made a couple of other videos and then the Peter Venkman video. But the Peter Venkman video was not the first one that I made. And I quite enjoyed it. I was like, this is fun, this is cool, but it was a very huge secret of mine because I was still in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and that is a cult. That is a legitimate, bona fide cult. It's much like cancel culture, actually. It's very much a cult where if, you do something that breaks groupthink rules, you automatically have to shun the person, and anyone who associates with that person automatically also has to be shunned by proxy. So it was actually a cult where I was raised. Like, you couldn't think independently. Everyone was self-referencing, or everyone was referencing other people. Like, it was no independent thought. So the idea that I was making videos in my room was just like a huge no-no, basically. So in this gap of time, I then meet ASMR Node. ASMR Node became one of my closest and best friends. He is just a wonderful guy, wonderful man, just as great as anyone could possibly be. He and I did date for a little while, but the fact that I wasn't religious and he was obviously a deal breaker, but he was just wonderful, basically, as wonderful as can be. He unfortunately did see the effects of what it was like to be in the cult, though, where whenever we would hang out, I would have severe social anxiety because I was always scared someone would find me, someone would see me out in public, and they would like report it back to the congregation, and then I would have to basically be the pariah or whatever. Then the Columba Rican witch gained traction, and it was featured in a Spanish newspaper that someone within the Spanish Kingdom Hall that I assisted found, and they started circulating it, and I then got in trouble. It blew up in my face. I was like, this sucks. And yeah, I basically had to make my case where I'm like, I'm not coming here. Like, I can't stomach it. Like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I hate this place. It doesn't make sense. None of the theology makes sense. Like, it's completely different from anyone else. It's so satanic. Like, it feels like I'm constantly haunted. It feels like everyone's always watching me, like, in a negative way. Like, I can't stomach it. There's no room for intellectual thought. There's no room for thinking. There's no room for creative expression. Everyone's more focused and obsessed with what the other person is thinking, doing, wearing, saying than they actually are about like actually observing and like valuing people for how they are or whatever. So yeah, I leave basically. Then the Plague Nun goes viral. This is weird. I go from a church that made me the black sheep my entire life. Now everyone's like obsessed with me and trying to control me and trying to get as close to me as possible. It was weird. I enjoy creating stuff. I enjoy expressing myself. It's fun. But I don't like people who are like weird like that, like obsessive and like gossipy and all of this jazz. Anyways, so the videos I keep making is basically just to have fun, make me and my friend laugh, ASMR Node. Like, it was always fun to come up with like a wacky idea or whatever. And yeah, it was just nice. ASMR Node was the one who ended up telling me, like, you should date someone who's an atheist because you also don't believe in God, so then it would be an easier match. So then I finally meet my first, well, I wouldn't say it's my first boyfriend because obviously ASMR Node and I dated, but then in 2018, I get invited to collab with GB, like 2 months after the virality of The Plague Nun. And so I go. We make a couple of collabs. And I must clarify, she and I were not friends. It was more like business acquaintances. Her husband started becoming a manager for a number of creators. He started collecting a whole roster of creators within the ASMR space. GB was the one to make ASMR into a business. Like, she was the one that kind of cultivated the whole business-like culture around it. And I was just kind of going along with the ride because I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But yeah, we were not friends. I spoke more to her husband, who was managing sponsorships for me, than I did with her, which is fine. It's totally cool. But I do not like it when people say, oh, you and GB aren't friends anymore and whatnot. I'm like, we were never friends. Like, we never spoke to each other outside of just business. Had I not gone viral with the Plague Nun, I don't think we would have collaborated. So in 2019, I get invited to go to VidCon, and I end up being one of the panelists. And it was a pretty exciting experience, but it was heavily tampered. So this is when things get very controversial, and this is where I'm going to light a little bit, or shine a little bit of a light as to what gossip or rumors or theories have been going on for a number of years now. So basically, Goodnight Moon and I, so she arrives to VidCon with PJ Dreams, and I was quite excited to see them because I was struggling with my social anxiety. Like, I was very stressed, I was very anxious. Everyone there was like very wary of, fake people, and they themselves were kind of fake people. Like, this is a whole convention of influencers. So it's kind of like, it's a bit awkward, basically. So when I saw them, I was quite excited because I felt like, okay, I know someone here, like, cool. So I started hanging out with him. And I'm under the impression that they were dating. Like, they were sharing a room, it had one bed, like, they were I was under the impression that they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I think PJ Dreams was under the impression that they were boyfriend and girlfriend too. And that they were dating or whatever. And so we start hanging out with a number of influencers at this like little convention room. It was like a nice little like gathering or whatever. And I'm still quite like anxious, there's comments being made about like, oh, I'm like such a squeaky clean, whatever. I just feel very kind of like tight. So I ask Erin, Goodnight Moon, if she can get me a shot, and then another shot, and then another shot. So that way I can like get the nerves out of my system. I then go up to get the last shot, and it turns out that they were double shots. So I had taken 6 to 8 shots within like an hour. And Aaron was not drinking. PJ drank a little bit. I think he drank like 2 or 3 shots. I don't know if those, like, I think those were 4 to 6 shots then too. So needless to say, then I blacked out. I was like 100 pounds at the time. And I really sincerely do not remember how we went from the convention room to their room, but I basically made it to their hotel room. And the next thing I know, Aaron once again did not drink a single drop. PJ was kind of out of it. And when I started waking up, she's on top of me, like putting her face on my face, like kissing me, and then trying to put her hand down my pants. And then I grab her wrist, and I basically stop it from going. I'm like holding it still, and I'm basically giving a cue of like, don't, like, stop. But I'm like knocked out, so I'm like trying to like push her off of me, try to like whatever, and I just feel really weak. Coming to the rescue is PJ Dreams. He then jumps on top of her and they start doing stuff. And that was my cue to just get out. I ran to the bathroom, I splashed water in my face, and I'm like, what is going on here? I then walked to the door and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to my hotel room now. And they're like, no, let us walk you there because it's like 2 a.m. and there's like influencers. It's like a shady whatever, So PJ says, let's walk you back to your hotel room. And I was like, okay. But I'm like clearly quite shaken. And then I ask him, I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened? Like, what happened? And they're like, no, nothing happened. It was totally fine. Don't worry about it or whatever. I start crying. I start breaking down. I'm like anxious and like whatever. And I wait a couple of hours until I know that my boyfriend woke up. And then I call him immediately and I say, I think I cheated on you. And he was obviously stunned. And he was like, okay, just give me until lunch and then we can discuss things. And I'm like, okay. So then, obviously then he calls me in lunch, and he asks like what happened, and I tell him what happened, and he was the one to tell me, no, it sounds like they took advantage of you. And I'm like, yeah, but like what was I doing drinking so much? And he was like, you were with someone you trusted. Like, it's like, yeah, sure, you might have gone overboard or whatever, but like you shouldn't have been in that, like that shouldn't have happened basically. So I'm still like riled, I'm still like on edge or whatever. That same morning, she wanted to hang out, Goodnight Moon. She was asking if, I wanted to go get buffalo wings or whatever. And I said no, that I was going to stay in my room because I was feeling not well. Like I was nauseous, I was anxious, like I wasn't feeling well. So I was going to just stay in my room. And then she was like, do you want to hang out before the ASMR panel for VidCon? And I'm like, I think I'm going to need just like a breather, some space or whatever. And so we go to the panel, and I'm still trying to keep some space between myself and Goodnight Moon, where I'm like, just let me process it, let me go through it, whatever, like let me figure things out, let me just whatever. It's not possible. She's like trying to get as close to me as possible, remain as close to me as possible, and I'm like, this is making me more anxious, like this is making me more uncomfortable. Then during the panel, I rush out first to try and sit far away from her, thinking that Maddie Tingles is going to be sitting next to me. She then walks in front of Maddie Tingles and sits next to me instead. So then I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, kind of away from her, very sat forward, so that way I'm kind of like as putting as much space as possible, basically. And I basically just can't look at her. Like there's a few moments where for a cue, like if you had to kind of signal normalcy, you had to signal like everything is fine, don't worry about it, it's good, I basically would just be like, pleasant, normal, whatever. But whenever she spoke, whenever anything happened, I would just zone out and just kind of like ignore it as much as possible, block it out, because for some reason it was causing me great anxiety, great anguish. Yeah, it sucked really badly, which was a shame because it was quite an enjoyable experience outside of that. I ended up making a couple of friends. I got to meet iDubbbz before, Yoko Ono ended up destroying him. I got to meet Boy in a Band. That's, also a controversial statement or whatever. And, it was wonderful. Then she keeps insisting that we hang out, and I'm like, I need space. Like I keep coming up with every excuse under the sun where I'm like, no, it's okay, I just need a break, I just need a breather, whatever. She gets more and more annoyed with me, more and more mad with me, and I'm like, why are you so mad? Like why are you whatever? So anyways, once the whole VidCon thing kind of comes to a conclusion, GB's husband, the manager, arranges that we go to Disneyland. And I'm like, cool, we'll go to Disneyland. My friend Cat Plant was with me. She was staying in the same hotel room I was. I had given her my +1. It was separate beds, so she was sleeping in the other bed. And she noticed that I was very stressed, very on edge, very anxious. And so she gave me some CBD droplets. And she was like, whatever you're going through, don't worry, sweetie. It's going to be fine. She's truly a sweetheart. She's truly, truly a nice person. So I'm like, I didn't tell her what happened though. I was like, I can't, like, this is not something to gossip about. Like, I don't want this. To me at that point, I was like, this is awkward. It's a social faux pas. It's nothing more, but it's also causing me great anguish. Like, and I chalked it up to, it's just, whatever, but whatever. So, then I find out that unfortunately PJ Dreams told Taylor Darling what had happened that night. And I'm like, why would you say that? But him coming forward and being honest about it, I said, and texting me about it, I was like, it's okay. I'm really not upset with you. you didn't do anything. In fact, if anything, you accidentally helped me. It's her that I have a problem with. Unfortunately, in his case, during that week, it was like he still had great loyalty and allegiance to Goodnight Moon. So, although he recognized that this was an uncomfortable, awkward situation and he was trying to mediate between it, he was like, please don't be mad at her. Please don't be mad at her. And I'm like, then give me space to breathe. Not him necessarily, but her. So then we go to Disneyland. I bring Cat Plant along, and then I'm planning on just staying as close to Cat Plant as possible. She's kind of like my safe person, if you will. And apparently it's just not possible because then Goodnight Moon comes out of left field. She just bear hugs Cat Plant, like drapes herself over her and then starts staring me down. And that just made me go into overload. Like I just couldn't handle it. So then I walk away, I leave the group. I think they took a Disneyland photo together. I'm not in it. I go off on my own. I start taking my own photos at Disneyland. I enjoy it because I've never been to Disneyland before and it was my first time and I enjoyed it. But she then starts texting me when she realizes that I wasn't in the group anymore. And she starts getting mad at me saying, like, all of this stuff, getting, like, all whatever, saying, why aren't I there? Why aren't whatever? And I then say, you're not giving me, like, any space. Like, you literally did something inappropriate. Like, I was drunk. Like, I don't even know what happened. And you're not even acknowledging, like, how messed up it is. You're not giving me any, like, charity. I'm over here trying to, like, figure out things as practically and, like, organized and structured as I possibly can so as to, like, not indict you as harshly as I could. And yet you can't give me any charity or room to breathe. So, yeah, I block her after that. I'm like, I'm so done with this. Then I come back home. I'm finally taking a breather. I'm finally back with my boyfriend, with my mom, and I'm like super happy as I can be. But I'm still struggling with it. And I break down crying to my mom and I'm like, yeah, so this happened. And she was like upset, but whatever, you know. Like a couple days later, of all people, and I'm very eternally grateful to her for this, Elise ASMR then messages me and she says, someone leaked your private information on 8chan. And I'm like, what? And they were like, yeah, they leaked the city that I was living in at the time, and they leaked your boyfriend's name and his politics. And I'm like, who? Like, how could this happen? Who's dragging my boyfriend into this equation? Then Elise finds out that it's Goodnight Moon's girlfriend's trans fiance, or fiance might be trans. I don't know. I can't tell, honestly. I really can't tell. I can't even, don't get me started. So I'm like, I thought she was dating PJ Dreams, but she's actually dating Ruby, who's engaged to someone who is like leaking my private information, my city, and all of this jazz. Like, her information was released a year prior, and I was there listening to her, like, vent about it, saying how stressed she was, how she had to move, and all of this jazz. And now they're leaking my personal information, my boyfriend's information at that time, and like, it was insane. And I'm like, this is malicious. This is not just a simple social faux pas. This is like malicious now. And then oddly enough, a week later, she then flies into the city that I was living in at the time. And I'm like, what? It's like a week later. So I'm like, what is she doing here? Then it turns out that she's doing a collab with GB. And I'm like, okay. Still, in light of everything, what the hell? But whatever, you know, it's a collab with GB. Then out of left field, she starts dating Marno. And I'm like, what? Anyways, I can't stomach seeing her face. It starts giving me like really strong anxiety, like issues. Like, it was bad, basically. I couldn't stomach seeing her face in the thumbnails. It just disturbed me. It's like this... It's like seeing Chucky, basically. It's like this wholesome little, like, whatever, trying to be as sweet and pleasant as possible. And it's like messy as can be, basically. What also deeply bothered me is that now Goodnight Moon is doing a bunch of collabs with Always Slightly Sleepy. If you don't know the lore behind Always Slightly Sleepy, she used to do audio porn where she would simulate age play, rape, and incest. That's why she tries to act weird, wholesome, and cutesy on her main page, because she's trying to simulate a little girl. So apparently these are what progressives call feminists. This is what actually supports women, apparently. Her content includes, for anyone interested, legal underage virginity taking, waking up daddy with incest, rape, and a BJ as the underage daughter. She, of course, also appreciated the praise and feedback she got from her listeners who enjoyed her content as Avalon, who the hell knows. This last one is supposedly hers. I can't confirm that, but it's once again a little sister roleplay with a grown man. So when you see grown women like this dressing up as little girls, pretending to be feminists, pretending to care about women, trust me, they are the furthest from it. So, yeah, it was just not fun, basically. Elise ASMR and I had started talking around 2018. I enjoyed her content. I found her because of the Mata Hari video that she uploaded years ago. And I thought that her, polyglot skills were quite interesting. So I messaged her, or she messaged me, I can't recall. And we just started talking about like our interests or whatever. And yeah, then she found all of this information out for me, and I was like, oh my God, like that's insane. So then she comes and visits me in the city that I was living in at that time. And we hang out. I tell her I'm bringing my boyfriend at that time because for my own safety, like, it's just nice where if it goes too long, if it's nighttime, I would rather have him there to protect me, just to walk me home or whatever. And she's like, okay, cool, I'm excited, whatever. We take her out, we show her around, we buy her expensive drinks, we buy her expensive food. Like she loved it, we loved it, it was great. Then for some reason, out of left field, it was truly out of left field, she starts talking about some like vague, mysterious crap about what I had done. And I'm like, what have I done? Like, what are you talking about right now? What did I do? And she was like, I can't believe you don't even know what you did. And I'm like, I really don't know what you're talking about. We took you out to a nice fancy dinner. We took you out to these nice like skyline places. And then we went home. Like that was what happened. She wouldn't tell me, and then she blocked me for like a year or whatever. Then she emails me and starts spam calling me like a year later, basically saying like, oh, the reason I was upset at you was because you brought your boyfriend. And I'm like, so, yeah, it was quite frustrating. I'm like, how is that a problem? Like, how is that an issue? If it was an issue, you could have raised it before, whatever. So yeah, it was bullshit. But I'm like, whatever, I still have loyalty to you due to the fact that you helped me out in this situation. But yeah, it was like constant drama. And it's like anytime I didn't respond to her for a while, she would then start flipping out. I cannot stomach friendships or people where they're like, if you don't message me, you're a bad person. It's like, okay, like, go away. Like, I just can't stomach it. So I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to be like, whatever. Like, I'm good with you. Like, I have no ill will towards you. There's nothing going on there. Like, it's totally fine. Then she makes this video about me a couple months ago. And I'm like, where the hell did this video come from? Like, what the hell? When I got canceled, I told everyone that I know, don't say anything. Because if you do, they'll shun you too. This is cult tactics. I told them all, stay quiet. So she then decides out of left field to start defending me. And then I start noticing a pattern. Are you trying to get attention through me? And then she's like, no, I would never do that. And then she would say things like, I hope you don't think that, you know, I'm copying your ideas or whatever. And I'm like, no, I just assume that we have the same interests. I just assume that we're like, you know, whatever. But what strikes me as odd is that not only did she make this video, then I go to check the DMs. The last DM we talked about was basically just catching up on her work, catching up on her life, catching up on her hobbies. She asks me, how am I doing? I'm saying I'm just taking care of my place, taking care of the house, boring as can be. Then she tells me later, a year later, she's like, oh, I'm going to make a video about you just because, you know, I want to make sure that no one thinks I think the way you do. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, you know, clarify your opinions. I have no problem with this. I have my opinions. You're entitled to yours. But then during this video, she starts reviewing all of this bullshit where she's like, I don't know if she even likes women and all of this nonsense.
I was hoping that Angelica was going through something personal, which I know that she did, and I thought that this was some sort of trauma response. I was waiting for her to come back to what she used to believe in. She didn't. Just for your information, I have DM'd Angelica like a month ago to let her know that I was going to make a short video about this. She never got back to me. I think that maybe she doesn't even consider me a friend anymore, given the fact that I pretty much advocate for everything that she hates. She was a really good friend of mine. I was hoping that maybe with time, you know, she would change back. I said that already, but she didn't. And maybe one day she will. When she does change, I'll be here. But in the meantime, I don't think I want people to perceive me as her ally or as anyone who is involved in whatever she's doing. We are clearly very different. We are completely opposed when it comes to everything. So it is quite sad, you know?
So, yeah, I'm like, I think you were only ever friends with me for attention, for just clout, for just like whatever. Like, this was not a genuine friendship. Because then after she makes this video, she continues to actually directly copy my ideas. So where before she was very concerned about people thinking that she was copying me, then she almost undeniably keeps copying me, where she starts doing like really niche like titles a week or two after I release a video, where it's like, you know, World War III draft. A week later, she then makes a World War III draft. Elon Musk, baby mama retirement application. 1 week later, she makes a Elon Musk baby mama application. Freaking Sydney Sweeney, ranking your genes or rating your genes or whatever. Then she makes a video like that. And I'm like, if I'm such a terrible friend, if I'm such a terrible person that you don't agree with, that you don't align with, why do you keep copying me? It's weird. Like, the last conversation we had was pleasant. So I'm like, spare me the hypocritical bullshit. It's weird. It was devastating because, as previously mentioned, she was the one to help me find out who the hell this person was that was revealing my private information. But then now I have to look back and think, was this just a way to become closer to me, as opposed to just a genuine attempt at friendship? It's weird. It's so freaking devastating and weird. Anyways, so then I get into drama with Oh Diddley. And people start saying, how dare you attack a woman for her lifestyle? How dare you attack a woman, like you're being so sexist or whatever. I'm like, excuse me. She came into my comment section when I ended up saying, don't waste your money at college spending like 6 figures worth of debt to study something like gender women's studies or some philosophy degree or whatever. And it's like, what job are you going to get? You're literally loading yourself up with debt slavery. Like, what are you actually going to do? And not only that, the education itself is going to wire you up for indoctrination. You are going to be the most unrelatable, pretentious, annoying douchebag that literally no one likes. They talk about education, but everything you learn in university is just deconstruction. It's literally the antithesis of education. You're not being taught anything. You're being taught how to hate everything, basically. How to not think, basically. So I made that point. And then I get a flood, obviously, of people being like, my theater arts degree was actually super beneficial. Okay, great. What do you have to show for it? $25,000 in debt? at minimum. Like, spare me the bullshit. Then she comes along in my comment section saying how rich it is that a YouTuber is making such comments. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Why is she in my comment section trying to virtue signal? Then I look up her profile because I'm like, who is this? Then I recognize her and I'm like, oh, we had a conversation like 5 years ago. Why didn't you just privately message me? Why did you do this publicly? Then I see what she's posting, and it's all like Belle Delphine inspired, like lolicon adjacent, like bullshit. And I'm like, hold up. You do not have the absolute audacity to post a comment saying, why is a YouTuber criticizing university or getting like, you know, some career that's like gonna benefit you for your future while you're dressed up like a little girl as a grown woman for porn and literally sexualizing minors. She and I end up getting into a conversation because then she's like, well, let me debate with you on this subject. And I'm like, I literally would rather just pull my hair out of my head. I can't stomach people like you. And we start going back and forth about it. And she ends up saying, well, what about my clothes are so, you know, childish to you or whatever? And I say, the pigtails, the braces, the fact that you're putting filters and like makeup to make yourself look like you're 12. The fact that you are looking like you're in a little girl's room wearing little girl's clothing. Like, what doesn't look like it's not a little girl's whatever? The fact that you're saying like, I love whatever, like BJ's or whatever, meanwhile dressed like a little girl. And she's like, oh, well, you know, how does that actually like mean anything though? So I give her examples. We go through this whole conversation. We go back and forth. I can't even repeat some of the things that she said because it was just so freaking like vile and stupid. I literally told her, I'm like, I'm losing brain cells. Like, I can't continue with this conversation. Like, it's actually so freaking stupid. And then she's like, oh, but, you know, I went to college. I'm like, and you proved my point. You guys are so fucking stupid and you think you're educated. It's actually fucking annoying. Like, I can't even, it was the most, like, it was so stupid. So, then everyone keeps coming out forward. Freaking ASMR Glow. I haven't watched a single one of her videos, and somehow she found my third channel and starts making fun of the fact that I'm like, yeah, no, like, there's a lot of things to criticize about feminism, and there's a lot of benefits to women in Christianity. And she's like, oh, you know, repentedly or whatever. Then you have White Rabbit ASMR coming out of the woodworks, and it's like, you also could privately message me. You did not. You decided to publicly virtue signal. And I'm like, really? You're all coming out to defend a girl who's dressed up like Belle Delphine, dressed up as a little girl. And she's like, oh, she's only attacked me because I look naturally youthful. I'm like, you know, a victim in this equation. You can find old videos of her from like 5 years ago. Her face looks entirely different. She's definitely had work done or some filter put on. Her teeth were straight before the braces came along. She then puts on braces and now it's like little girl, whatever. And yeah, like she looks 20 years younger than she does now than she did 5 years ago when she looked like her age. So I'm like, spare me the bullshit. Your face completely morphed. Like, you are looking like a little girl to promote your OnlyFans. And you do it on purpose with little jokes and hints and winks about how you want daddy or whatever. Like, spare me the bullshit. And all of these people who jumped out of the woodwork, you can all go fuck yourselves. Because it's just so fake. It's like unbelievably fake. Oh my god. Speaking of fake, going back to GB, my manager used to be her husband, as previously stated. He was the one managing all of these creators. I was one of the first or second batches on board or whatever. And then out of left field, it's, oh, sorry, you know, I can't really associate with you. I can't direct any, you know, attention to you because you've been criticizing queer theory and you've been criticizing sex work. And we don't want to promote exclusion of sex workers or sex whatever. And I'm like, so by me criticizing something that I've already done and experienced, a marked woman coming forward with my own experience, saying women shouldn't do this because it's unhealthy, I was never traumatized. I will play clips of what I said years ago.
How is it exactly empowering for a teenage girl or someone who's very young to be talking to a bunch of perverts who are requesting sexual acts that she otherwise would have never even known existed? Because, like, in real life, if some random dude came up to you and told you, hey, do this, and I'll give you like $500 or something, you would probably get offended. So how exactly is this normalized? What exactly are young women telling younger girls to do and how to be. It's not healthy. And even if you do make a lot of money on OnlyFans, even if you do make 5 or 10 or 6 figures, great. But it has a short shelf life. OnlyFans is not forever. It's literally like max for like 3 to 5 years. And then you start to get haggard. And at that point, it's like you've entered a world that you once again wouldn't have done. It's a pipeline. It's a pipeline. It's a void. It'll suck you in. Personally, for me, this was my experience. I had a respectful audience because I already built my audience somewhere else and I was very well liked and I appreciate them. But at the same time, I also understood that the things that I was doing was things that I wanted to do. And a lot of them were like, respectfully, I'm going to have to leave. And I'm like, respectfully, I understand.
I said I was not traumatized. I'm not mentally ill. It is the fact that so many young girls are choosing this as a career path moving forward that is messed up. And the fact that people like Oh Diddley actually go online and defend it as a woman in her like mid to late 20s, saying this is a perfectly viable career for whatever bullshit that it's empowering.
We're talking about
no, I asked the question about me and then you started
I don't
talking
care about you. The debate's not about you.
I asked the question.
You keep making this debate about you. It's not about you. The prompt is diddly empowered by sex work. It's our women. And I'm worried about women as a whole, not you. If you want to throw your life away,
if the debate question was, does nursing empower men? Do you think I'd be talking about men who don't do nursing or men who are in nursing?
What?
If the debate question was, does nursing empower men? Do you think I'd be talking about men who are in nursing or men who aren't?
I think we'd be talking about men who are in nursing, not you.
Okay, so we're talking about women in OnlyFans, which I am.
You are one of millions.
And there are many other women who feel the same way.
And you are an outlier. You are an outlier.
You now are conceding that OnlyFans can be empowering for women?
No, I'm not conceding anything.
Oh, so then why did you call me an outlier?
That's not a concession. Because that's not the prompt. I know you're not a debater. I know you're used to showing everyone your butthole.
And I'm like, this is irresponsible. This is not good messaging. So instead, I get excluded, and I'm the one condemned for criticizing things that are hurting children. Okay, cool. And then the thing is, when it comes to queer theory, I did not start this homophobic tangent swinging as hard as I do now. Now I'm pretty bitter. Now I do go pretty much black and white. Like, I don't want to deal with these people, like, at all. Because there's no nuance with them. There's no, like, actual critical thinking with them. So I'm filtering them out and saying basically, like, you know what, go fuck yourself. But in the beginning, all I said was that queer theory does allow and has a foundation.
And children, that's what we just do normally in, in Anglo-American culture, broadly conceived, right? So one of the things that childhood studies scholars make a distinction between that might be helpful is between the figure of the child, right? You can think of this capital T, capital C, right? The child and actual children. And we have these sorts of ideas about childhood, right, that are actually really powerful, and they actually condition real children's lives. But part of the problem is that the child is an ideal. It's just a concept. It's a story. It's wishful thinking about what we wish was true about how age is organized in our society.
In targeting children, and that is true. Gail Rubin, Michelle Foucault, Judith Butler, these were all queer theorists. Even the founding document of queer theory defends boy lovers. This was something I discovered when I was on the left. I would listen to people like Derek Jensen and other such green anarchists who I sympathized with, especially when I was reading Max Stirner and all of these, like, whatever. And in their distaste, their criticism of civilization, basically saying, like, the cities are going to absorb and, like, decay the rest of society, saying that there's not going to be any escape from it, kind of like a Ted Kaczynski kind of, like, feeling, a Ted Kaczynski vibe, although he actually targeted Epstein affiliates. So I'm like,
Where's the goat? The goat!
it's just, anyways. So from that, I started learning, like, or I started noticing rather, I'm like, oh, that's right. They do mention this so much. Like, they just do it in passing though. It's always quick. It's always like testing the waters. But I'm like, no, they're actually coming for kids. Like, they're actually going to go after kids.
But I'm convinced that kids as young as 5 years old show signs of being queer. I work with kindergartners, and you see a lot of interesting things, like little boys who want to go play with dolls, or little girls who want to go play with cars. And it's something that I think should be encouraged, because who cares if you're a little boy and you play with dolls? Who cares if you're a little boy and your favorite color is pink? I work with a boy who doesn't care if you call him a boy or a girl. His name is Ethan, and he says it doesn't matter to him because he's still Ethan regardless, and he likes to be called a boy and a girl. So genuinely, I'm surprised when parents are surprised at their kid being queer. You're going to sit here and tell me that the child that you had that is now 18, that since they were 5 has been asking you to call them a boy and a girl, turns out to be queer, turns out to be non-binary, that's going to surprise you. I don't mention anything like this to the kids or to their parents, it's just something that I've observed, but I genuinely am so fascinated.
They lie all the time. They say that you can reverse puberty blockers. Tell me exactly how you can reverse lost years, lost months of puberty. Tell me exactly how you can reverse a chemical agent that is going to block a natural process in your body. You can't. And not only that, no one knows the consequences of that. Tell me exactly how taking hormones doesn't deeply affect your body. If a little boy takes estrogen, that's going to mess up his bones for the rest of his life, and he's probably going to be rendered infertile. If a little girl takes testosterone, she is screwed for the rest of her life. She'll never be able to scream again. Did you know that? Her vocal cords will get larger because of the testosterone, but her throat won't be big enough. So if she tries to scream or even talk, it's always going to be agony. So I came forward saying this needs to be criticized, not tolerated in a critical thinking space. In an educated space, critical thought is not allowed. So I came forward criticizing this, saying queer theory is having a foundation in this material. This is something that needs to be paid attention to. And lo and behold, everyone starts defending and gaslighting and silencing and censoring and saying, how dare she say this and whatnot. She's lost her mind. She's mentally ill from the OnlyFans. And it's like I've said multiple times, this never traumatized me. This never affected me. This is not something that was a factor in my decisions. The reason I'm coming to this conclusion is because through leftist material, I'm observing something I find morally reprehensible. And I'm criticizing it because if you're allowed to criticize literally white men and Western European civilization because they're so oppressive and they're so predatory or whatever, why exactly can't I criticize people preying upon children, lying to children, preying upon parents who don't know better, socially pressuring parents through the worst mentally abusive, slander possible to, completely mutilate their kids? Oh, I get it, because it's against your bullshit, your agenda. The reason I also got to this point, or to that conclusion, was namely because I was talking to a guy who messaged me on TikTok, and he kind of wanted to date, he kind of wanted to whatever, and I'm like, I wasn't really into it. I enjoyed the conversations because he was a very cerebral, very, he was a smart guy, he's intelligent, he's perceptive, but the things that he thought were very, very informed by pure liberalism. And so he asked me, I'll chalk it up to a mental exercise, but the thought process was certainly questionable. He asked me, what did you think about Ezra Miller and the whole controversy with him, grooming a 12-year-old girl and taking her to a sex cult? And I'm like, that is fucked up. And he was like, but they're both non-binary. So he understands her. And I'm like, that sounds like grooming. And he was like, no, you don't get it. It's just that her conservative parents didn't allow her to be non-binary, so now Ezra Miller is taking on the whatever. And I'm like, that's the definition of grooming. And this was a conversation that was heavily had towards the end of the Biden administration. The conversation was basically removing children that would not be transed by their conservative parents away from them if school administrators or if guidance counselors or whoever decided that their child was now arbitrarily trans because they farted in a feminine way. And I'm like, that's really bad. Then I started looking into the Balenciaga stuff because it was just this huge thing where I'm like, why exactly do they have children in BDSM wear? I go into that deep dive and I make a video about it, and I'm like absolutely shocked. I'm like, yeah, actually the movements that we're seeing nowadays, the policies that we're seeing nowadays, yeah, they're encouraging trafficking. Like, and these morons, these useful idiots, these baizo, as the Chinese call them.
The new term is called baizuo, literally white left. Baizuo is used generally to describe those who only care about topics such as immigration, minorities, LGBT, and environment, and have no sense of real problems in the real world. They are hypocritical humanitarians who advocate for peace and equality only to satisfy their own feelings of moral superiority. They are obsessed with political correctness, to the extent that they tolerate backwards Islamic values for the sake of multiculturalism. They believe in a welfare state that benefits only the idle and the free riders. They are the ignorant and arrogant Westerners who pity the rest of the world and think they are safe.
The like virtue signaling morons, like all of the people mentioned in this video, pretty much almost all of them, they'll go along with it just because they want clout, attention, fame, and status. They are grifters. All of them are grifters. There is not a sincere bone in their frickin' body. So I then come forward saying, hey, this is what I found out on the whole Balenciaga stuff. And people start saying I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, conspiracy theorist what? Like, it's literally right there. Then The Sound of Freedom comes out. I watch it, made me cry. It was that powerful of a movie. Jim Caviezel is a phenomenal actor. Oh my God. Passion of the Christ also made me cry.
You don't want to hear it. It's too ugly for polite conversation. But meanwhile, over 2 million children a year are being sucked into the deepest recesses of hell.
That man is so good. But it made me cry because it was talking about the sex trafficking rings that happen from Latin America into North America. And I'm like, yeah, that's obviously true. Like, that's something leftists understand. But yet, for some reason, if it's under the context of trafficking and migration, all of a sudden it just doesn't happen anymore. And I'm like, why are you proposing policies that facilitate this to happen? Like, anyways. Then they're like, oh, you're uneducated because, you know, clearly you don't understand the imperial dynamic, the imperial relationship between the United States and Latin America. I'm like, oh, no, please explain to me. Explain to me, white savior, what exactly it is that's going on there. Like, do you understand that they assassinated your president too? Like, JFK was like a regime change. You understand that LBJ like completely changed the administration. Going from that point forward, all of your presidents have basically been bought by one entity. Shabbat shalom. So I'm like, you guys are suffering the same way Latin Americans are suffering. It's just that Latin Americans are kind of culturally dysfunctional people. Like, we're more emotional, we're more passionate. That's just how we're wired. It's Southern European culture. So I'm like, no, we're all in the same boat. Like, this is the same people that are doing this in the Balenciaga case. All of its tentacles are being basically observed from what I'm seeing in these spaces. We used to have a concept about that when society was more cohesive, when society was higher trust. It was the weird, freaky neighbor in the bottom of the street or whatever that people would tell their kids to stay away from. Now those weird, freaky neighbors are the ones that are teaching your kids in public schools. They're the ones influencing you in your videos. They're the ones who are basically allowed all of these positions of power and influence because the government wants them to have that level of degenerate control. So anyways, yeah, that was the drama there. That was the reason I got to the conclusion that I did. I'm like, yeah, no, this is actually a problem. These people only have like this, like, almost obsessive paranoid issue with like predation when it comes to like a grown man dating a girl that's like maybe 10 years younger than him. Like, she's 20 and he's 30 and like they're like, oh my God, like that's literally like so predatory. But then when it comes to like a grown senator ass man making laws to basically normalize diddling kids, that's actually like LGBT awareness, it's like equality. I'm like, are you actually fucking serious right now? People say like, oh, she went to Christianity because her mother passed away. Oh, because, you know, like she got trauma from OnlyFans or whatever. No, neither are the case. I basically realized in light of what everyone is now seeing in the Epstein files, which have been available for like 15 years. This is not a revelation. The only reason now you guys believe in the Epstein files is because the government released it. You literally had to have the government tell you these files are legitimate for you to believe in it because you need the government to tell you what to think. That's how brainless you are. I've literally been saying this is like observable fact. Like I don't need someone else to tell me how to think. I don't need someone else to tell me what's going on. I can observe and come to my own conclusions on my own. These people are so desperate for social approval, so desperate to be told what to do at all times, that despite the fact that they think they're rebellious for dyeing their hair freaky colors, like good luck with the formaldehyde in your fucking brain cells, for taking the SSRI drugs that their freaking therapist tells them to take to feel better. And it's like, are you sure about that? You look like shit. It's like, they then come to lecture you saying you're a bootlicker. And it's like, my guy, like the boot is up your ass. Like, are you actually being serious right now? Something else I wanted to bring to light during this video is that I love women. I do. I'm not in the gay way, obviously, but I do love women, femininity, motherhood. I love things that are intrinsically feminine and womanly. I love it. I love it. That's why I hate it when people started criticizing Gwen Gwiz, when people started criticizing Pelagia back in like 2018, saying that because these women are objectively attractive, that somehow they're now worthy of criticism, that now they're like just meat slabs on whatever. Freaking JoJo's ASMR then makes a video about her, calling her a hoe and all of this jazz, saying she's ruining ASMR back in like 2018. Did any creator speak out for Gwen Gwiz at that time? No, they didn't. Actually, they didn't defend her at all. Why? Because they don't care when an attractive woman is actually being insulted. Even though her nudes had been leaked, and even though this was like a response to that, no one came to her defense, no one cared. Then, she leaves OnlyFans. And JoJo ASMR makes another video about her saying, oh, well, you know, she's fake. Well, you know, I can't believe really that she's being authentic about her leaving OnlyFans and all of this jazz. Like, did she really leave OnlyFans and like all of this crap? And I'm like, are you serious? Why are you so obsessed with this woman? She's never done anything to you. She's nice. Why are you doing this? That's weird as shit.
Forget her most popular videos, try-on hauls. In these videos, she would wear stuff ranging from swimsuits to dresses to bikinis, and she would, you know, show a bit of skin, have a nice time, and it was that. Bing bong baggity boom, free shenanigans, and a sausage sizzle.
All of these vocal bullshit ass, virtue signaling fake ass bitches never defended her. So yeah, basically, I can't stomach the hypocrisy that I keep seeing all around me. All around me. It's like, these people are so quick to say, oh, Angelica criticized O'Diddley because, you know, she was saying that she was sexualizing minors. Duh, that's her whole, like, shtick. But then when JoJo's ASMR starts condemning Gwen Gwiz for literally breathing, like, this woman went into it, he criticized her, called her a hoe, started saying all of this crap, saying she was ruining ASMR. She then leaves. He then starts crapping on her, saying, I don't know about this, blah, 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 starts, like, playing, like, this bullshit-ass role. I can't. He then starts making a video on freaking Ephemeral Rift, too, saying, oh, he said the N-word. Can you believe that? He said the N-word. Oh, I'm sorry. This man's entire platform, Ephemeral Rift's entire, like, personality, his entire shtick, is being an anarchist. Heavens forbid an anarchist does a heckin' politically incorrect thing. That's what they're known for. I would actually be more annoyed if Ephemeral Rift was politically correct as an anarchist. It doesn't make sense. That means that you're not honest or sincere. He's a sincere person. He also has been raising criticisms and concerns about how many fake, annoying people started saturating ASMR for the business and money aspect of it. It used to be a creative space where you could make money, but now it's filled with a bunch of like desperate attention seekers and people who copy other people's ideas, and it's just so annoying. Anyways, so he then criticizes Ephemeral Rift saying, oh, he said the N-word. And I'm like, you said the N-word.
I'll be aware, there is a clip which has started to surface on YouTube and apparently on Twitter of a clip of me from 5 years ago when I was a 16-year-old teenager quoting and referencing another person's use of the N-word.
Like, are you kidding me? You used to look up to freaking like Leafy is Here and iDubbbz and wanted to become like some knockoff version of them. Back in the like 5 years ago or some shit like that. You were called out for this. You are literally so obsessive and weird around creators that you've been called out for being fake and for being like really like creepy multiple times, even by Keemstar years ago.
Because you make these videos and you're constantly like taking digs at me. You don't know me. I've never even talked to you before. And all of a sudden, like this drama comes out with Leafy and you start kissing my ass. And I think you're a fake, dude. I think that whatever goes on in the community, you change your opinions to like support that popular idea.
So I'm like, you're repeating this pattern even within ASMR. You're calling out random women who have never done anything to you. She's never said anything. All she said was that she's not a freaking lesbian anymore. And now all of a sudden, she's enemy number one. All because she decided that she's gonna try to become trad now. Apparently she's not allowed to do that. It was all like internet drama, internet gossip, whatever. But it shines a light onto the fact that it's like everything you guys think is going on interpersonally between the creators is not the case. It also shines a light as to how annoying and obsessive these people are. It's like this is not just relegated to fans or whatever. Like, there have been plenty of fans who have actually become my genuine friends, and we've been friends for years. These other creators can be obsessive and weird, just like any other, like, sleuth online, I suppose.